I'm Corey Harding-Keizs of CHK Real Estate in Port Credit, Mississauga. Today I'm sitting down with Vanessa, the founder of Motherpluckers, a space that's redefined what a brow experience can feel like. Not just a service, but a place people actually want to come back to. Vanessa, I'd love to start at the beginning. How did Motherpluckers begin?
How far back are we going? Are we going back like the full 16
back.
years?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
How did this start?
This started after being really fed up with all of the traditional experiences that we have surrounding brow services. And I think that anybody who's ever had their brows done has always had some sort of experience to go along with it that's now left them scarred and super nervous.
Scarred.
Yeah, and maybe even like a little on the thinner side or uneven. And so I wanted to create an experience for my guests that would feel intimate, that would feel like it's just no fuss getting here, getting an appointment, how you're booking. And so when I had originally started back when I think it was like 16, I had just started. I was still in high school. I got a job at a makeup counter and they offered brows as a service over there. And I can't speak to how good I was at the time, but I was offering the service. And so by the time I had left that boutique, I had gone into a bit more of an aesthetics kind of position. And from there, I became much more specialized in brows. And even though I had put myself through makeup school, I was kind of feeling like brows was like my side chick, you know, but I was starting to fall in love with my side chick. And I wasn't so into makeup anymore. And I was also feeling like makeup was a bit saturated. And with makeup, there's so much more that comes along with it. And I wanted to see my clients much more often than just a few occasions a year. And so I had gotten fired from one of my most favorite brow jobs.
I love your transparency.
I was fired. You know, and it took a long time for me to get comfortable with that. But I just kind of realized that I wasn't for that mold. And so that's where my initial desire to create something a bit more special for my clients came. And I had been renting a chair in a studio in Etobicoke. Shout out to Shades because she put me on. And she just gave me her window space, let me rent it for $100.
I know that.
Yeah, it was small, and I only had enough clients for just the one day. It was just one Saturday out of the week.
You had your chair.
That was it. But after I got fired, I had to continue making money. And so I got into serving, and I was working at, I think it was like 2 or 3 restaurant jobs at the time, plus doing brows on Saturdays. Now in hindsight, I do feel like, and I don't know if this is something I just tell myself to make myself feel better, but when I got fired and had to go back into serving, that's where I ended up meeting my husband. And so a part of me... Yeah.
You had to go through that.
Exactly.
To meet your husband.
Yeah. And so I also feel like hindsight's always 2020. And it wasn't until kind of understanding how important in my path that was. Because I think that if I didn't get fired, I'd probably still be there. Or I might still be working
that door,
for somebody.
You know, shut, and look at the doors that opened.
Yeah. And also saying yes to a lot of the things. When I was working for myself just the one day a week, I had gotten in touch with a company that offers brow services within Sephora. And I kind of felt like at the time I was giving up on my own thing to do somebody else's thing. And they were very transparent with me in that I had to be there full time and I had to be fully committed to them. And so,
only them, probably.
And only them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I completely understood. And so it felt like a little bit of a detour from where I wanted to end up. But again, hindsight, it was so important for me to get used to the super fast-paced environment and being so submerged in the beauty industry. If you've ever been to Sephora Square One,
I have.
It's busy.
Yeah,
it's so busy. And you are just so into the world of makeup and beauty trends and just what's current that it was really nice to be just so immersed in that world. But I had come to a point where it started becoming more about the sales and less about the service.
Okay.
And I understand that we're all, so
you're like, it's time for me to spread my wings.
Yeah. And my husband was super encouraging, and he's always been reminding me of, he thinks I'm really special. And
I love that. So you are special.
Yeah, it's taken a long time to be able to see that in myself and be confident in myself as well. And so he was just like, well, I think you could probably do it on your own. And he was more than happy to support me in his bartending role for however long it took. And I think that's so important. And so I had left my job there after 3 years. I had an amazing experience. But I wanted to offer something just a little bit more intimate.
Yeah, niche and
just cozy. And so I had found Sam at the studio. I don't know if you know that I was in that house with her.
I do know that, actually.
Yeah. I wasn't like living with her, but I was in, I had a studio there. And that's what initially got my feet out into the real world. When I was at the makeup job, I had been there for 3 years, and I was at the top of my ranking, and I had won an award for the second year of the row of highest brow services and highest brow sales.
That's impressive. Brows are important.
Yes.
I don't think people realize how important brows are.
It's, you know what, you'll realize how important eyebrows are once you've had them ruined. And once you realize that they don't grow back, and suddenly you're just so scarred, and we think that our moms are being super annoying about make sure you keep your brows full. Don't go do it.
This is like an ongoing conversation with my 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Don't touch the brows.
But unfortunately, sometimes it's one of those things that you're not going to know until you've had that bad experience, and hopefully they do grow back. After leaving there for 3 years, I had the tiny studio. They ended my lease early. I don't think they thought I was going to be as busy as I was, but there were...
So business is picking up and you're like, now what? I might need my own space?
Well, I felt a little blindsided, and so I had only had a few months, I think like 2 or 3 months, that they had given me as a heads up to find something else.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was looking everywhere for a space. I also wasn't trying to be a store. I had never seen this as a whole business. I had just seen it as, I just want a cute little space for me and my clients, somewhere we could just like giggle and listen to music with some swear words and have
You honestly have the greatest playlist, by the way. You know, I have that on Spotify. And everybody, Motherpluckers playlist. And you always update it. And it's like so good.
Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate that.
Yeah, I do.
So I was already Motherpluckers in that room. And that's kind of when I decided that this is who I wanted to be. And
where did Motherpluckers come from, the name?
So the name Motherpluckers came from the dusty, silly little corners in the back of my mind that awaken when I'm in the bathtub or I'm waiting for some food in the microwave. And I remember having run this by my stepmom, and I was like, what do you think of the name Motherpluckers? And she was like, that's so inappropriate. You can't call it that. And I was like, but that's kind of me.
Why I came here.
That's kind of it, right? And so again, it's kind of, even with the name Motherpluckers and feeling like you're kind of shy because it's quite out there, and oftentimes you kind of want to blend in, like you don't want to draw a lot of attention. But my husband was always like, no, you should absolutely draw attention. I think that's a fabulous name. And so I went with it. Before I told anybody, I trademarked it because
Good.
I was like, how has nobody taken this name yet?
I know.
It was so fabulous. And that's how I came up with it. And so I was looking everywhere for a studio space. And I remember searching up all the MLS websites and just seeing what is out there. But it was all office buildings. And that's not exactly what I had pictured for Motherpluckers. And so I had an idea that if I was a storefront, how would I advertise my space? In the window. And so Steve and I spent one freezing cold February afternoon just driving around looking at different spaces, from Streetsville to here, Ontario, and Dundas. And then eventually we're like, I think we need to call it quits. I think we need to go home. There's nothing out there. And so just as we were on our way back home to Etobicoke at Lakeshore and Park Lawn, we had made a left from here, Ontario, onto Lakeshore. And so just as we were driving by, it's almost as if like we hit a deer or something. I was like, stop the car. And I quickly ran out, and it was so cold that I couldn't even really hold my phone. And like looking back at all my photos, they're all just so blurry because you're freezing. Like, you're freezing cold. And so from there, I had gotten in touch with the landlord. I had asked one of my clients, who was a real estate agent at the time, to put me in touch with her. She was absolutely fabulous. But as you can see, it's a space that's bigger than you would think it is.
Absolutely.
And so
deceiving, to be honest.
Yeah, we're like in our second level studio now. And when I had first found the space, it was too big for anything that I thought that I was going to need. And so I was supposed to go in on it with a lash artist.
Okay.
And at the last second, the last artist backed out. She got into real estate as well. And I was just like, well, this is like a really big space.
So now I have the space on my own. What am I going to do with all this space?
Yeah. And so I took my little IKEA shoe cabinets that I had made into a station. And while I was finishing up my time at the other space, I had kind of really bootstrapped this place. All I did was I painted the walls. The mirrors were already here. It used to be a Pilates studio, hence all the mirrors and the beautiful flooring. And I just moved in very bare minimum. I added a feature wall, and that was kind of the beginning of Motherpluckers.
And then when you say storefront, because when you walk by, you can see the brows being done. I think that's so amazing. So that was the vision. Storefront, people can actually walk by and see the services that are happening here.
I wanted it to feel like a woman's barber shop. Because I think any movie that you've ever seen, the barber shop vibe is very open conversation, whether you're sitting on the bench, whether you're at another chair. We take what we do very seriously, but we don't take ourselves very seriously. Hence the name Motherpluckers. It's silly,
Well,
it's
I've seen
fun.
your shirts too.
I was just wearing a shirt that said I pluck on the first date, and I was
Yeah.
like, is this
I've seen them.
appropriate? But I look fantastic in blue, so I was just like, we're changing it. So
I love that.
but yeah, so I wanted to create just a very inclusive environment, and at any point in time, you'll see people from different walks of life, demographics, different income levels, but brows are just kind of the thing that connects all of us. An amazing conversation and connection is also
You truly
what
feel
keeps
that
them.
when you come in here. Like I've been in here, I come here and I get my brows done here. That you feel that energy when you come in here. The music's playing, the open conversations. I've been down here as well for service. Like it's nice that you now have this in the lower level and that you can expand. And I know you're really tight with your team. I was really intrigued by how you guys would do I think it was monthly once upon a time. Like you'd have those team building events. And I was like, that's really inspiring. I think I'm going to do that with my team. But how do you hold the standard for the team, right? Like you're high on standards. You have a team now. How do you, like, what's something that you're not wavering on?
The details.
It's all about the details.
The details. And I have a hard time not apologizing for being so on top of everybody and being so on top of the work that leaves here. Right? So the quality, I'm just very unapologetic because that is what our clients expect from us.
Yep.
And I just feel like if somebody has made the time to drive out here we have clients from everywhere. We have people who come from St. Catharines. We have some who don't even live in Canada anymore, who will make an appointment every time they're in town. We get clients from absolutely everywhere. And for me, keeping up the standard was the most important part. And so I'm always around. I'm always kind of popping into their appointments, looking at their work.
It's important to you.
It's the most important thing to me is just ensuring that our clients are getting exactly what they want out of here, and also ensuring that they feel heard. So many times we go to places, whether when we're getting our hair done or we're getting our nails done, and your service provider has an idea of how they want this to look. And by all means, you're the expert. This is why I'm coming here. But there were some experiences in which I didn't feel heard. And I want for you as a service provider to tell me, you're the expert. I want you to tell me what may look good and what may not, but ultimately the decision is mine. And so we really create a very inclusive experience for our guests where it's a collaboration. We're figuring out what we want together.
I'm all about a collaborative ecosystem. I was going to ask what builds trust with your clients, but you kind of answered it right there. It is listening to them and having a collaborative, an idea.
Huge. What really, really helps and what keeps the standard consistent from myself to my girls is brow mapping. That's something that we do at Motherpluckers with every single appointment. And the brow mapping is casting this vision, and based on where your brows are at, what you want them to look like, the shape of your face, the length of it, and ultimately how you're going to wear them day to day is what we base this map on. And we don't start until you've approved the map. Just to ensure that. Yeah, it would be so nice if everybody can show me exactly how many inches of hair they were going to cut every time I went in, but it's always your 2 inches are now 5 inches somehow.
How did that happen? That's not what I said.
Well, now I'm leaving in tears.
Yeah.
So that's how we ensure that the standards are upkept the same with every single one of our staff members. And of course, I have a very hefty vetting process.
That's important, right? Because it's your brand. They're representing what your creation, your vision, right? So I think that's, heavy vetting is, what does that look like when you're when you're hiring somebody?
I would say one of the most important things that I look for when it comes to hiring new artists is somebody who's personable, somebody who is likable, somebody who is, I guess, just fun to chat with. I find that a lot of times my training goes back to how to have a conversation. And the biggest part about being a service provider and the biggest part about conversation is how to actively listen. Like you're listening. You're not just listening for the things that people say, but you're also listening to what they don't say. And
That's important.
some of I've had one staff tell me that, she feels like it's like a kindergarten thing, having to learn how to have a conversation. And it's an epidemic, to have a conversation and to actively listening, not where you're listening for where you want to put in your answer, where you want to put in this random thought that no longer has to do with the conversation, but ensuring that you're not interrupting somebody when they are explaining to you their whole brow journey. I know that to some people, brows are just this add-on service, this afterthought, and I didn't want that for what we do. And so by making it a bit more of a concept salon, we no longer offer tattooing. It's really just brow waxing, tinting, staining, lash lifting, lash tinting, facial waxing, of course. But I wanted to specialize in one thing because I feel like when you're a jack of all trades, you're almost a master of none.
Exactly.
And nothing to anybody who wants to offer more services. I just think that we found what works for us. And by niching down and really curating our menu has given us the opportunity to lean into that expertise.
This leads me to my next question, which is the training, right? So you don't just train your staff, you're actually training offsite as well.
Yes.
How does that look?
So with my training, what I like to do, whether it's at a school that I'm training at or whether it's an online course, I want for you to kind of get to the good stuff. I will take my experience to have made all of the mistakes, to do all the things where I'm like, shouldn't have done that. And I'm going to give you the what works and the what doesn't work. And what I want for my students to take away and what I want for my artists to take away is not just understanding the technique and the steps of service. That's very memorization based. For me, it's I want you to, first of all, care, but I wouldn't hire anybody who doesn't care. I want you to care. I want you to have intent and intention behind everything you do.
That's important.
But most importantly, understand why you're doing it. It's the difference between a line cook and a chef. For me, I want to equip you with the knowledge and the skills that you need so that even if you are following step by step, sometimes eyebrows are very much like snowflakes, and it's not a one size fits all when it comes to eyebrows. And so sometimes you're following the steps of service, but sometimes you kind of have to improvise a little bit. And for me, it's encouraging and helping them become much more confident to speak to the services, to offer meaningful add-ons, or even in some cases, if somebody's booked in for a lamination and you don't think that that's going to be the best service for them, I think it really builds trust. A lamination?
Like, no, I booked it. And it's like, come in, like, nope, not for you.
Yeah.
And then walking you to something that's more suitable for your look, right? So that's well said.
And it comes back to, I remember one time I wanted to get a perm for my hair. And my hairdresser was like, no, I'm not doing it. And I was like, is this one of those times you're just telling me what I can and can't do? I was just like, and she was just like, I don't think you're going to like it. It's going to add way too much texture to your hair. And she kind of talked me out of getting this more expensive service. And had I come away with it not liking the service, I would have blamed her for sure. Because as the service provider, you should know what works and what doesn't work. And so if somebody's coming in for a brow lamination and there's nothing about you that screams brow lamination, you don't even like the look of it, it's a very easy upsell, but I feel like it ends up costing you so much more in the long run with your guests.
For sure, especially if they don't like it and you know it's not meant for them.
For sure.
Right? Like you can tell, and that's why you're a professional at what you're doing. You also have your own product line, which is incredible. When did that start?
So the product line started when, I would say probably a year into the business. That kind of takes its own focus. And when it comes to bringing in new products, whether they're ones that we've made or whether they're ones that we're selling from a different brand, if I don't love it, I don't sell it. For one, I would have had to have used it. I would have had to have used it over a period of time. Even our lash serums, I will be using it initially. Then we have a bit of a trial period where I kind of bring it in. I start teasing it to my guests, like, how do you like this product? And especially too, at the end of every appointment, we style eyebrows. We show you how you're going to work with your eyebrows and how you can become your own eyebrow expert. And so by introducing our own product line, made that experience a little bit more seamless.
Yeah, I mean, I've had products here. I've gotten the lash serum, the brow gel, all of that. That's incredible that you have that here right on site. What do you think one thing is that people is misunderstood about brows?
One thing that I think is misunderstood about brows, people spend too much time comparing themselves to everybody else. We watch the YouTube videos, we see the products on the models, but that's not our everyday client. Our everyday client is going to have their own dilemmas. They are going to think that, "Oh, you can't do anything for me. I don't have eyebrows." I don't need you to have a lot of eyebrow to show you how to work with what you have, because
Working with what you have.
you have what you have. I don't know. You were born with it.
Yep.
And what's most misunderstood about brows is thinking that you have to have a lot of it for it to look good. When in reality, that's not. Full eyebrows aren't for everybody. Everybody's eyebrows are unique, much like fingerprints. And so by having you in and giving you a consultation and showing you how to style your eyebrows, we are custom tailoring this experience to you
Personally.
Yep. This isn't off of a YouTube video. Of course, we'll have content on our page which will kind of show you how to maybe become your own eyebrow expert, but that is what's missing from a lot of online content that we're consuming, is it's not you.
It's not you. And what would you say to like a cautious person that's never had a professional eyebrow service? Like they're scared. They're scared to try that.
So relatable.
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to our first timers, our people who haven't been here, or maybe they're coming for the first time. First time clients are always, it's like a cocktail of they're excited and they're nervous because they've had bad experiences, because they've seen us online and know that we're able to, work up and whip up a little bit of magic. And so what I would say to any first time guests is just book it. It doesn't matter what your eyebrows currently look like. It doesn't matter what they're going to look like. It doesn't matter what stage of life you're in. I think oftentimes older women, they love to write themselves off, and it makes me sad for sure. They think that, well, I don't look like these Instagram models, or I don't have full eyebrows.
I either should have.
Yeah, but we will meet you wherever you are, whether you've just had a baby and you kind of forgot to look at your own face over the last 3 months because you've been so in the trenches, or if you're freshly retired and you kind of just want a renewed sense of self. We're able to meet you where you are, and whether you're starting your brow journey or whether we're just kind of upkeeping and maintaining them, just book and we'll figure out the rest.
You guys make it easy to book on your website. You can call in. I mean, when I book, I do it on your website. Google reviews are so important, and you have a ton, like a lot, over 1,000 more. What do you think people are reviewing when they're leaving you their experience?
They're reviewing things that I didn't even think were important to them. It's important to me. And so when they're coming in and complimenting the atmosphere or the cleanliness of the shop, I take hygiene so seriously. We only use one pair of tweezers and scissors per client, and then they immediately get disinfected right after.
That's so good.
We're using one pair of gloves per client. Of course, it does kind of add to the cost, but to me,
those things are really important to people, and they
absolutely are, especially after COVID. And we've kept the masks on, and it's no sweat off our back. We're inches away from people's faces, and so not only is hygiene super important to our guests, but even when we thread, we necktie, we hand tie, we never put it in our mouths.
Interesting. Okay. I didn't know that existed.
Some old practices, for sure. And the beauty industry is ever changing. And so making sure that we are current, even the playlist is always updated, which people really appreciate. And of course, they're always speaking to the quality of our work, the friendliness of our staff, and just how open. We really try to make our clients feel so welcome, so welcome. And as soon as they walk in, we greet them. I have like a very strict rule. You greet the person that just walked in. It's so awkward when you walk in somewhere.
And nobody greets you.
And you're like a ghost. You're like, am I dead?
Hello.
Yeah. It's
I've been in places like that.
it's super awkward, and it's given my staff a new standard for when they go in somewhere. And I've used all of my experiences from fine dining to fancy hotels to kind of incorporate some of those.
Yeah, you're making me reflect on like my time here and when I've come to get my service, or even coming here today. It was, she was really friendly, and it's just nice to walk into that.
For sure. And also too, I have another rule was where you never guess somebody's name. You never, it seems so small, but when you guess somebody's name and you get it wrong, nothing makes you feel more forgettable. And so whether it's your first appointment here or your 115th appointment here, I've had some clients since I was 19, and ensuring that they're always feeling like we're constantly dating. We're constantly dating as a long-term married couple. And this is why
this is important.
It's super important. Imagine that you're with your partner for 15 years and they stop trying to date you. Even with the brow mapping, and we used to do it for just your initial appointment. And now we're doing it for every single appointment because we want to ensure that our long-term clients always feel impressed. Like we're always working towards their goal, and then we haven't forgotten about them. And if anything, they are our creme de la creme. It's a lot tougher to keep a client happy over a long period of time than it is to get new clients. Our clients are reviewing us on absolutely everything. And so I really try to make sure that all those bases are touched, and when they're missed, we reflect and incorporate whatever sort of change we can to really elevate our service.
And that's good reflection to have, right? Is, feedback and making changes where needed. But no, having the reviews is so important because, they're from people that have had your service, experienced your service, telling their experience or other people. So, and I'm all about Google reviews. You've created such a great brand of Motherpluckers. Who is Vanessa outside of Motherpluckers?
What's so funny is I couldn't have answered that prior to COVID. And I obviously had a lot of negative feelings surrounding COVID and the 14 months that we were shut down for. I really had to figure out who Vanessa was outside of eyebrows and outside of my clients. And it really forced me to, what do I like? What am I good at? What are some interests that I kind of had that now I have all the time to explore? And so I really got into planting. I absolutely, it turns out that I have like a pretty green thumb.
Okay.
As you can see from my fiddle leaf fig upstairs. His name is Fiddy Cent, by the way. Everybody always asks if he's real. He's so real. And I just kind of had to figure out exactly what it is I like to do that isn't eyebrows. I really enjoy crafting. I did all the wallpaper here.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's amazing.
It saved you like $1,500. It was wild. Actually, even more than that. I really enjoy crafting. I enjoy cooking. And now I enjoy improv. It's something that I've started doing at Second City. It sounds so random, but it's so important to my husband and I that we have hobbies and we have a life and friends outside of our relationship and outside of work, because we're multifaceted creatures. I'm not just Motherpluckers. I'm a creative force. And so I've learned that the detail that I love working with when it comes to eyebrows was the same detail I loved working with when it came to makeup, or it's the same sort of detail I look for when it comes to cooking. Everybody always wants to look over the details, but the devil is literally in the details. And so I've just learned that I'm just a creative being, and for the most part, I'm pretty good at anything I try.
That is super powerful. I love that. So how do you take Vanessa outside of Motherpluckers and bring that back to Motherpluckers to continue to elevate your brand?
When it comes to my taste in music, my love of plants, my love of clean spaces. I mean, I am Portuguese, so we do cleaning really, really well. I've really kind of infused my own personality into Motherpluckers, from everything from the decor to the playlist. I now have my own separate playlist because this one was getting a little spicy. And so
I heard it.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes the girls are like, hey, did you realize that they talk about XYZ? And I was like, no, were there any kids in the shop at the time? Perfect. We'll remove it. I love bringing humor to our content as well. And sometimes I feel like when it comes to traditional brow places or even just beauty places, sometimes I feel like it feels like not me. It feels almost like a little too stuffy. Like they're going to figure out who I am. They're going to figure out that I'm silly and that I swear and that I do improv, and they're going to think I'm weird. And luckily I have a partner who really encourages me to be so unapologetically myself.
I love that.
And if it means adding a bit of humor or adding some of the plants that I love so much, instead of this being a business that kind of fades into the background because I'm caring too much about what people think and trying to blend in, it's what makes us stand out. That really is kind of just
uniqueness.
me. Yeah. And with a name like Motherpluckers,
yeah,
it kind of does.
I know
its
when
own
I
work.
first came in here and learned of your shop, and it was like, I love this name. You could trademark this, but you already took care of that.
I already took care of it here and in America.
I know community is important to you. How does showing up in your community look like?
What showing up in my community looks like is having events outside of the store, or even having events inside of the store that give people in our community an opportunity to experience us outside of our beauty services, whether that is being at the farmer's market and seeing our clients outside and getting to interact with them, or at the women's show. It's so high energy.
You guys doing that, yeah.
So freaking fun. I absolutely love doing the women's show. We also had a dog adoption event, and that feels really random.
I remember that too.
Yeah, it's what business does Motherpluckers have at a dog adoption event? I absolutely love. I have 2 cats. Now you can't have a cat adoption event because things will get crazy. But I would absolutely love a dog. And our dog adoption event was my way of having our community being exposed to all these dogs that could use a home. And I called it Mother Fluffers to have like a little
Mother Fluffers, of course you did.
To have like a little bit of a bridge. And so all of the money that we had made from the Mother Fluffers dog adoption event, we had given everything to Fetch and Release. One of our girls is good friends with somebody who works for Fetch and Release, and so I like to have a connection. I don't want it to feel random, because some things
mean something.
Yeah, some things do feel performative. You know, they do feel like you've never cared about this holiday before, but now all of a sudden it's like a big holiday, you know? And so
I was going to ask, how do you choose your partnerships and who you align yourself with for your community outreach?
For the most part, it'll usually be clients. You know, they support us in so many ways. So for me to support a client or their school or their kids' hockey team or a company of theirs, their grand opening, or sending coupons for their grand opening, we support our clients in our community first, and then outside of it, it's just whatever makes sense as far as what I genuinely like. And even though I don't have a dog, I thought that, you know, to have an event like that makes a lot of sense for me personally. And if you know me, you'll understand that it makes sense. And last year for Valentine's Day, we teamed up with a studio. It was called Kyuku Studios. Okay. And it was somebody that I used to work with at Sephora. Asian-inspired florals, and the other half of my business, Steve's Vietnamese, and he's a partner as well. And so things that are near and dear to us, for sure.
That have meaning.
Yeah, have interest, and if a client's involved, then we'll probably be there.
Yeah. So this is my last question. What keeps you rooted in Port Credit?
For somebody who didn't grow up here, Port Credit has a way of making you feel like you grew up here.
I agree.
And I absolutely love just the small town vibe of Port Credit. You get to know a lot of the business owners. I've made the best friends with the waste management gentleman who comes and picks up our trash every Thursday. I don't know his name. We wave to each other like maniacs every Thursday.
I waved to him when I've gotten a service done here before.
He's the freaking best. And I don't even know what it is about the people that just walk by our windows every day, but Port Credit's got a great way of showcasing familiarity. I always feel safe in this community, and I feel like I'm seen. To my neighbors, we have great relationships, especially too in the Port Credit Friends group. I really enjoy being a part of that group and just kind of seeing what's going on in the neighborhood. And I love all the events that Port Credit has, and it just Port Credit feels like its own little community, and that's what keeps me rooted, is creating my own community within
the community.
Yeah.
Everything you said is why I love Port Credit as well. And it does feel different than other areas, and it is close-knit, and
Yeah.
it's that village feel and community, but also like you, I've created some great relationships and friendships, and getting to know the local businesses and doing outreach with them is incredible.
I've been here for 8 years now, and the shop across from us has changed into so many different things, and just seeing what works and what doesn't work, and just having staples such as Colossus. Like I love Colossus.
They're so good.
I go so
They got a
hard for
family
Colossus.
dinner.
Yes.
And it's like so well priced.
It's just you know what service you're getting there. You're always getting the best food. And I think I know that community feel is what adds to the familiarity of when you go there. You're seeing probably the owner's son, or, the chef that works there every day. And
You know
they
what to
just
expect.
and also it feels like they care, and it makes
I
you
agree.
care.
For people that don't know what Motherpluckers is or what services you have here, tell us.
So at Motherpluckers, we specialize in natural brow and lash solutions. We work with what you have by offering brow waxing, brow tinting, brow staining, brow laminations, lash lifting, lash tinting, and soon Korean lash lifts, as well as facial waxing, because women need that.
There you go. I love the little new service. And tell us, where can people find you?
They can find us here at 155 at Lakeshore Road East in Mississauga. So many people go to the Oakville location, so I always
said
have
the
to,
same thing.
Yeah, I always have to emphasize we're in Mississauga. 155 at Lakeshore Road East in Mississauga, and you can also find us online at motherpluckers.co on Instagram, TikTok, and our website.
It's more than shaping brows. It's about how people feel from the moment they walk in to the way they leave. That kind of experience is built with intention, and that's what makes places like Motherpluckers matter.